All right, so welcome to
Loot Shooter
Weekly.
There you go. Been a long week for you, huh?
A little bit, man.
Been drinking.
Season 3. I have been. Season 3, episode 14. I titled the stream tonight Guardian Takedown ? And I am gamertag Burt Reynolds, joined tonight by the golden voice of gaming, Negan Killjoy.
What up?
Big Masher. And once again, Ghostmaker71. So I titled the stream Guardian Takedown ? Because today new content dropped for Borderlands 3 called the Guardian Takedown.
Yes, it did. Along with everything else.
A big balancing patch. Yeah, big, awesome balancing patch. And we were planning to run the new Guardian Takedown. However, it's bugged.
Sad trombones. Everybody get all sad about it. Little tears down your cheeks. Yeah.
It's bugged. Or, Negan and I were discussing this 20 minutes ago.
I don't know if bug's the right word we're looking for.
Bugged. It's not scaled properly for any normal human being. I was in there for a minute earlier today at lunch, and oof, boy, you can run out. I was out of ammo before the end of the first room, and there's nowhere to get more ammo for the next room, and so the health scaling's off in there. And I said it earlier. One of 4 things is true. Gearbox has the worst QC team that has ever existed.
Ooh, that's harsh. All right. Number 2?
2, people shouldn't make updates to games during pandemics because it's clear they can do the development, but not the QC. We've talked about that before.
Because they don't have access to the same tech that they would if they were in the office and stuff like that.
Right.
For QC.
Totally possible. Totally possible.
Okay.
It's reason number 2. Reason number 3 would be that they do this on purpose. And the reason I say
that's you putting on your tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. Here we go.
Well, but when this takedown launched, the first week it was live, it was super duper hard. And then they did a balancing patch.
You're talking about the Maliwan takedown.
Maliwan
here in a second.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. And then they did a balancing pass on it. And, the badge of honor that you took it down during the first one. During that first week. It was a lot of streamers.
That's right.
Destiny does that a lot. Where they'll set up an event that basically only their top 5 or 10 streamers could probably really do. And they leave it that way for a couple days, and then they make it so everyone can do it. It's possible that that's what this is. And then option 4... we could go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, and the fact that we were talking about it earlier, that it seems to take some dedicated time to finish it. Even on like Mayhem Zero, people were taking quite a while to get through it. And you had said somebody posted that it took them 5 hours to get through it on Mayhem 10.
Yeah, that's correct. It did take a significant amount of time for. I'm about to be joined by a third or a fourth host here, my dog Blondie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, I guess that'd be a third
It's only worthwhile if she gets on stream with us and gets on camera.
She's not going to do that. She's shy.
She's shy.
Got a shy dog.
She's like, no, don't put the camera on me, sir. Please, no.
Yeah, people were doing it pretty effectively on Mayhem 1, I guess. But then, if anything drops for you, it's useless, right? Or Mayhem Zero. It's completely useless, right? They saw one guy that took him 5 hours to get through it on Mayhem 10 because of ammo issues, really, because he kept having to run back, and he cheesed the heck out of him. He was running, a Ricochet Witch build, Mara Driver build with, God rolled recursion and Yellowcake, Chios, and OPQ. And he said it was next to impossible, and he would never do it again.
Right. Okay.
Saw a little Twitch stream earlier today of Moxie running it. He was stuck. Whatever. It'll get better. I think balance past it. But my fourth conspiracy, not a conspiracy theory, but my fourth theory is they may have built and tuned it before they did the balancing pass on the guns, meaning, several of these guns that we're running tonight, like they basically, the detailing what they did with the Mayhems, they dropped Mayhem 10 down from 12,500% health to 10,000, and then they tuned some guns up, some older guns up, specific ones though, and tuned down a lot of the cartel and newer guns so that they wouldn't be so OP during this. Now the exception is the OPQ system, but the OPQ system burns a ton of ammo.
Yeah, it does.
And so does the Monarch. So the two guns they didn't tune that people could be running in it also burn a crap ton of ammo. They're using them effectively.
Although speaking of getting tuned and burned, before we get into anything else, I think it's important we get the important stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
That only one of us apparently is participating in tonight, because you're doing iced tea and we got Johnny Walker.
Hey.
Before we dive in too
drinking
much,
my favorite brew from Arizona Brewing.
Oh, okay.
Just happens to be iced tea. I mean, that's iced tea.
Happens to be iced tea.
I like iced tea. I am drinking iced tea tonight because I have to take my son to go get his driver's license, and because of pandemic and everything else, they only give out 60 vouchers a day, and so you have to get there at like 4 a.m.
That is crazy. Crazy talk. Yeah. So you're doing Arizona iced tea. Ghost, what are you doing tonight?
I'm not doing Arizona iced tea. I'm doing Johnny Walker.
Not peach flavored Johnny Walker or anything like that. Any crazy raspberry flavored Walker or anything?
No, that would be sacrilege. I'm doing.
That's what I thought was Crown Royal, but okay. All right.
Johnny Walker Black, because Johnny Walker Black.
Right. There you go. Nice. Well, since I'm going to keep with the theme. Or you're going. There you go. I actually am trying to put aside my beer snobbery tonight, and I'm taking a jump in the Wayback Machine for me. And there's a brewery called Pabst. I think everybody's heard of the Pabst Brewery. Ooh. But it's not the Blue Ribbon. It's actually a beer that they're doing with 21st Amendment Brewery out here in California called Lucky Lager. I don't know. Have you seen that, or do you know the history of so Lucky Lager, the reason I jumped my Wayback Machine is it goes back to when I was in school. It was a cheap, easy, cheap beer.
Kind of like your prom date.
Kind of like my what?
Kind of like a prom date.
Kind of like my prom date, exactly. Although my wife would be a little upset if I said that out loud.
Right.
So
I was gonna say, I think
nobody watches the stream, so we're good.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm going to see if the nostalgia factor is that it was a bad beer, but it was cheap. But the fun part was that it came in like these shorty bottles, and each beer cap had like a little rebus puzzle on it, like little pictogram puzzle type stuff on it. So as you drank the beers and you were getting drunk, you got worse and worse at guessing these little puzzles. So that's my beer tonight. I'll jump in the Wayback Machine, and we're going to see if my beer snobbery is still intact after I drink this. And I'm hoping I enjoy it, because I don't want to waste a beer, but that's what I'm doing tonight. Lucky Lager. So,
yep, we do get that here. And Pabst Brewing has resurrected all the old, Dixie and Schlitz and Hams and all of them.
Yes,
you can get them
all. Not a good thing, but yeah, Hams. I remember Hams back in the day too. Hams was even worse than Lucky, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm. It's from the land of sky blue waters, which is the great state park north of here, Wisconsin. Yeah,
that's right. Hams the bear refreshing from the land of sky blue waters. Yeah. Waters. Yep, yeah. I remember.
Yep.
So yeah. All right. So there we go. So cheers to you guys drinking what you're drinking.
Okay.
You will know Cheers. If you shed your snobbery if you have an unending urge after you drink that beer to have a bowl of chicken wings and watch a NASCAR race.
There you go. There you go.
You're going to be asking a lot of me, Ghost. That's a lot of changing going on for me today until that happens. So, all right. So back to
what else?
Yeah, go ahead.
What else PBR brews that's out by you? Olympia.
That I've heard of.
Yeah, they brew that,
Olympia.
and that's actually not too bad. That one's not too bad.
For a while, that actually makes sense because Lucky started in San Francisco. It became relatively popular. It's a cheap beer and stuff like that. And then it migrated to the Northwest. One of the breweries that was one of the last breweries that made Lucky beer was actually out of Vancouver, Washington, up in Southwest Washington. And I think Olympia Brewery ended up purchasing Lucky. So that would make sense why Olympia and Lucky are now being brewed or have a recipe that somebody's doing at the same time. I want to say Rainier might be in the same vicinity, but I'm not entirely sure about that one.
I think
that Rainier
one
might
as
be
well.
different. Yes. But so it makes sense Olympia and Lucky would be perhaps going after some recipes and trying to bring back the whatever you want to call it. I couldn't even find a description. All I could find a description on this one was like a lager, adjunct lager or something like that. So nobody's even describing this beer.
Means. Do you know what adjunct is? Adjunct lager means it means you used an adjunct instead of barley. Corn, rice. Don't count wheat as an adjunct because wheat makes it a Weiss beer. But any other grain that you use that's not barley is called an adjunct. So it just means they didn't use barley.
Great, you're drinking Chex Mix.
Chex Mix, yep.
Chex Mix, exactly. All right, off we go. So talking about
let's get off
tuned up and stuff like that. Talking about the guns and stuff like that.
Before you get all drunk on cheap beer, let's let's get this frat party started.
There we go. Exactly. Get the frat party started, kicking back.
I played a little tiny bit today, not probably more than an hour total. I have liked what I've seen from the balancing patch, and reading. This isn't a bad thing. But reading, a little bit about the takedown, it does sound it's maybe the new takedown. When they do balance pass it, we will cover it. It does sound a little Destiny-esque.
It does have that feel to it. What I was watching and stuff like that too. Little platforms. Some of the mechanics that they were talking about. Some, protect this area while, enemies attack you and that kind of stuff. And so, that sounds fun. I think that could be very enjoyable. People were talking about some sort of stomp mechanic remnants. Apparently, there's something that makes people think of stomp mechanics.
And platforming.
Which is definitely PTSD from Destiny raids.
Well, and there's apparently a lot of jumpy puzzles, which were frustrating the heck out of people, which, that's maybe something I don't miss. I'm just going to say, I don't think I miss jumpy puzzles. Never been particularly great at them, and Destiny has a lot better movement engine than this game does, right?
It does,
you have the ability to float and fly, and something feels off about trying to make you do jumpy puzzles in a game that doesn't particularly mantle or jump well.
No,
but whatever.
They're trying. I mean, it's credit to them to try something new, but I don't think that should be a pivotal part of the takedown. I don't think it'll work out well if it is.
Well, and somebody called out, and I know neither of you are Destiny 2 veterans, but in the Tiny Tina's DLC from Destiny 2, they literally poke fun at Destiny for the jumpy puzzles and platforming. And so there's sort of an irony to all of that, a little bit, in terms of, well, if it was, why would you make fun of it in one game and then decide it was a good idea in this one? But
like we said, it's kind of trying something new, I suppose. They got to keep it interesting, but ultimately, like you said, it's not made for jumping, so I can't imagine the jumping puzzles being too terribly complicated. I think they're adjusting for it with regards to it's like a low gravity situation, so you make it feel like more of a jump when you're using it.
Yeah, and I think what I understood from it was the jumpy puzzles have, a spot in there, and it's a lot of, I think it's a little bit like the little sort of jumpy puzzle that's in the one mission in the most recent DLC, with the crystals, and you got to go jump up to the platform to to kill what do you got to kill? Crystals up there that make the boss vulnerable. Sounds like kind of an expansion on that, but a lot of it, and so I think that's probably where people are getting frustrated, because it's one thing to do it a little bit in one boss fight. It's not a thing to have an entire, raid based around that mechanic in a game, again, that does not particularly specialize in jumping.
Nope.
I'm glad to see they're trying something different.
There you go. Credit to them for trying something new.
Yeah. So you may remember we ran this a couple weeks ago on a stream. I think on a stream.
Yes,
and
we did.
It was, during the cartel event, and so we were having ammo issues because so many
our asses
enemies
handed to
spawn
us
in.
A little bit more than we are right now. We were. Yeah, it was a little bit of a struggle.
That's true. I feel like it was just an ammo problem. We couldn't keep up with the ammo consumption. Now I'm getting my butt handed to me.
Sorry, didn't mean to jinx it on you there, buddy. My bad. Oh, and I jinxed myself too.
Well, make sure you get up. Remember, we do not have the ability. If you need a revive, Negan.
I might need it. Hang on. Oh.
Nope.
We're going to take a deep breath off that one, because that one, I'm downing them as before. You're down them left and right without being down, fight for your life, and all of a sudden they run away from you when you're shooting them for fight for your life.
Well, I feel like that's as designed.
I know. So I'll watch. So I'll talk about the other stuff as you're focusing on the not going down. So we talked a little bit about the takedown, the new takedown, that we think they're probably going to come back and do another balance run through, adjust it for everybody.
Yeah,
it seems overkill right now.
It's a matter of when. Will that be a hot fix tomorrow, or will that be, a balancing pass next week? I think every week till we get to the DLC, which comes out on the 24th, we will have weapon balancing passes. I think that's a near guarantee.
You think they're going to do a bunch of little tiny fixes between here and there?
Yeah, I do.
You're thinking?
I think they'll address the various different archetypes one by one. This week they took on, some of the underperforming SMGs. I think next week they'll probably take on some of the underperforming assault rifles, and I think they'll do it quicker than they've done it in the past. My personal opinion, just because they've already been through it once. Right. Feels like they should know what they need to do to get it back in the right spot. So I think they will probably move along a little faster than they have in the past. I think you got a week here for pistols, probably a week here for snipers, a week here for assault rifles, and then the patch with the new content will be out.
Okay. So that'll be interesting if they do something like that. Excuse me. Because wanting to drop the new DLC and stuff like that, you think that's at a point where it's done and they're not going to be doing any more testing, so they can afford to do little minor changes beforehand and then drop the DLC? Because that would be my guess. When you talk about little things, it's like, they're going to put all these things in a row, and they're going to try to focus on all the stuff and the new DLC, and just something's going to suffer. And I don't want it to be the new DLC, because I'm kind of looking forward to the new DLC.
The new DLC looks awesome. It does. Like the
Bounty of Blood or something like that it was called. So going back to what they just did as far as hotfixes, we're obviously not going to talk about every single item, but you did mention they went through with some of the SMGs. And that was that was the past primarily of this time was the SMGs, talking about like the bitch, the handsome jackhammer. They increased damage on a lot of them, increased the damage on a lot of them. So they wanted the SMGs to be more variety and how you played with them, and getting them to be more viable, because there's like one specific SMG people were using, and they wanted to get others used by the player base. So they changed some of those around, and they also changed the way, what was it, the Ripper, I believe, and what they call the play loop.
The Ripper does more melee damage now and more damage after you melee something. Mm-hmm. So they call it a play loop, like they're saying, like the idea would be like you punch, you shoot, you punch, you shoot.
Right.
And the Vanquisher, they significantly buffed the fire rate when sliding.
Right. The fire rate and I guess some of the damage as well when it's sliding. So it does a little bit more.
Yeah.
What it's supposed to be doing as well. So that's kind of cool. So they're looking at different things like that. And they, like I said, they talked about the bitch and the jackhammer, devoted, and some other ones that they increased the damage on. And then they went back through and they nerfed them. And I guess everybody's going to be, well, it's a nerf, but I think they did the right thing as far as the Sandhawk goes. They did the right thing there. They made it, as we were talking about it before the stream, we were talking about how it's now more of a sniper. It's an actual sniper rifle. It's not a spray and pray, assault rifle type gun. It's more of a sniper.
I think most people are using that thing like a shotgun. They were getting up close with it and just unloading it. And they reduced the number of projectiles that come out of it, but buff the damage on them. So damage is pretty close.
Right. And they said they reduced
they upped
projectiles.
the ammo consumption.
Yeah, the ammo consumption went up, but the projectiles, they said that was a performance issue as well. That wasn't just the weapon needed to be nerfed or buffed.
Effects.
Yeah, particle effects and stuff like that. So
yeah. So I think those things are good. Ghost, you're gonna want to grab ammo because this next one's the boss fight for mid boss. Negan's missing out on that.
I am. I'm watching. I know it's my bad.
Because he can't keep himself on his feet.
Can't keep myself on my feet. It is what it is. Makes me really enjoy this. Enjoy this beer I'm trying to consume. But it gives you also a chance to focus on what we're talking about, to drive the conversation.
Good for you. Yeah.
So speaking of SMGs, the Chaosin was one that they didn't buff that SMG. They actually nerfed it, or they were calling it a nerf.
Yeah, I think they called it a balance on it, and I would agree. I would concur that they balanced it. I don't think it was ultimately a nerf. When I think about a nerf, oh crap.
Want to make you thinking shoot at the same time? Oh, there you go. You got him. Nice job.
Just take your time. We got it. I think, Bert, it might be a good idea after this to talk about builds, especially the ones that we're running, which is a new build for me.
Let me do my thing here. I got some PowerPoint gaming going on here.
Oh, it's up to you, Bert. No, I really can't talk to you about it. I can't ask you questions since you really got to concentrate.
Yeah, talk amongst yourselves.
So has Ghost played it all today, or is this your first time getting into it since they did the fix and stuff?
First new time. I spent most of the evening trying to work out a new build, which is the Chaos Queen from Moxie.
Okay.
Which Bert is running.
Is that what Bert's running too?
Yep, Bert's running the Chaos Queen.
And what makes it, what's special about this build? Since you want to talk about the build anyway, might as well, since you put it together just now, talk about it. What are you doing with it? What's special about it?
Well, for me, the main thing is that the focus is not so much on survivability in the specs, but survivability in damage.
Uh-oh.
Which I had no damage to have survivability in.
Bert's getting lucky now.
Luck had nothing to do with it. Oh, come on. Paying attention. Really?
Oh, that sucked.
Oh, and she's going to run away.
Yep. See, tell you. They rip you off that way, man. Totally rip you off.
Well, and there's one other guy in here I could kill, but he's hiding.
Oh, with authority, she walks away like that.
So that's a reboot to the beginning, boys.
Yep. Yeah, it is.
Well, also a good time to talk about the fact that Mayhem, the takedowns, they scale. So you can do it on one player, it's scaled for one player. You can do it on 2 players, it's scaled for 2 players. As soon as you jump to 3, it's scaled for 4 players. So there's no 3-player scaling, right? So this is actually technically the hardest setup you can have, is to have 3 people doing it. But as long as Negan doesn't die, I think we could probably get it. We can probably get it done.
Well, try to do better. Jeez.
It's a matter of Negan not getting himself killed.
Well, I'm not going to try a new gun. I'm going to try the OPQ now. I'm going to run with that now. Commit to my OPQ system.
I'm going to commit to PowerPoint gaming again.
Ah, the recursion. Gotta love the recursion.
You do have to love the recursion, right?
So you said what they did with the Chaos, and you don't think it was a nerf necessarily?
Well, I mean, they certainly nerfed the damage, right? But then they nerfed the health. So that comes out equal. All they really did to it was make it a little less it was pinpoint accurate.
Yeah, from serious range
So-
for an SMG.
Right. So you could stack up those explosives on enemies very, very easily, which made it exceptionally strong.
Mhm.
And they nerfed the stat down a little bit. They put a little more spread on it. It's a little more in line with how an SMG should act. But I have not noticed that here I am using it. It's still very strong. It's not as strong as it was, but it's very, very reasonably strong. And still fun to use. Still my go-to SMG, even after testing several others. I'm not automatically opposed to it.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what they said they did. They changed the accuracy a little bit on it as well, so it's not pinpoint, but they didn't hurt it too much. Ouch. Oh, there she is. I see her. You did that to me. And then, of course, last but not least, on the Nerf hammer or whatever they called it, was the Yellowcake. And even that, I don't think they didn't nerf that too bad. They did
If
adjust it a little bit.
if that's a nerf, I don't know. I mean,
that's a nerf. Nerf more.
it requires you to actually land your
Think about-
shots. Like it's
Exactly.
not
Land
like
the shot
it
and
was
plan it out.
last night where you could, basically shoot and, the splash damage everywhere in the room was going to kill the boss in one shot like it used to. You actually have to hit with it. Like you might have to aim. I don't know. I don't consider that a huge nerf. It's still very strong, very effective.
Well, yeah, they said they kept the damage where it was pretty much, and they now are allowing what they call the opportune range on guns. And they're saying with the Yellowcake now it's actually was you planned it where you wanted it to separate out, so you dropped to the 4 bombs instead of just the one single. And that would actually do a lot of damage as well. So that's what they did. Takes a little more planning as far as what you're doing with that. But yeah, they didn't nerf it too bad.
Like, I mean, I didn't even, I'll be honest, like, I didn't even used to aim the thing, right? You just kind of point it in the direction of a boss and pull the trigger 3 times and everything died.
Mhm.
That was fun. It's not particularly challenging in any way, shape, or form. And I think that's really what they addressed. Like, if you land a shot with that thing, man, it is going to do work. Stuff's going to die. It's very effective.
Right, exactly. And finding that sweet spot like you're supposed to find with them. And that goes back to what we were talking about the Ripper, finding the way to play the
We got to
Ripper
get
the right
ghosts
way.
up here. We got to get ghosts up here. Oh,
Apparently, I'm stuck somewhere.
so that's there, right there's a prime example. I hit him with the Yellowcake. He got wrecked.
Right, so we talked about the Gyosin, which I'm now using as well because I'm running low on ammo for some reason.
Well, I think the thing to talk about is the fact that they dropped down this enemy health, right? And there were guns in Mayhem 4 or Mayhem 10 that were not new guns. So we've talked about all the new guns, right?
Mhm.
But there were guns
Yes.
that were not new, like the Hellshock, like the Lob, that were very strong. And those are now and the Recursion, which I'm currently using, and now those are very strong. Is basically what has happened. Because they were strong and now they're even stronger. PowerPoint! Everything's gonna explode.
All right, what
So
I
you
got
don't
in
have
this
an
deal.
auto Chaosin ghost?
I do not. I have a burst fire and a semi. Well, I mean, you can switch them, but
Shocker Raider.
yeah, that's all I have.
So the old guns are good again, is what you're saying. Hellshock and
Some
stuff
of
like
them.
that, you
Some.
think, because of the
Some.
way that they did
Hellshock.
the damage.
Hellshock's
Hellshock was
great.
really never bad. I would argue
It wasn't.
really never bad.
No, absolutely not.
No. And I think that's really the point. Like, so now with the health nerf down even more, they're really good. You know what I mean? Like, the recursion was always good. It was good at 12,500%.
Right.
But I
And
don't
it's
think
even-
Recursion is now one of the meta guns. It's on par with OPQ and even Yellowcake still.
Yeah. The recursion is ridiculous. Which I mailed you one, Ghost. I don't know if you saw that.
I got that. And don't forget the lob.
Yeah, the Lob is awesome. The lob is awesome.
Has
Very
always
strong.
been and continues to be.
Right, and that goes also to what they were talking with regards to using the gun the way it's intended. Is the lob is you get that perfect spot to shoot it where it's going slow and it's causing a lot of damage because it's taking a while to get to where it's going. So that's another gun that they talk
I've
about
always
as well.
had better luck with that up close too.
Mm-hmm. Which makes sense because that's when it's the slowest moving and it does the most damage that way.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm actually going to switch to a corrosive plague bearer for this.
all right,
The one gun
sticking
I've
with my
ever
OPQ.
had.
You don't have a plague bearer?
Negative.
Sounds like somebody's asking for some favors to be done here.
Let's
Let's not
Rightly
get
so.
too much into our pabst here.
All right, Negan. Let's see how this goes.
All right.
Stay alive. Play your life, Negan. Killjoy.
Mm-hmm. Do what I can.
You squishy Irishman.
Which is Negan's one redeeming quality, is that he's Irish.
That's right.
With the problems that this game has, I will still say that it's in a better position than some games that rhyme with Destiny. Currently.
And they made some big announcements this week.
Yeah,
right?
they did.
Like there is no Destiny 3. There will never be a Destiny 3. That was interesting. They detailed a 3-year plan for additional content.
Yes,
And
they did.
they've really moved to that, like, hey, we're a live service game model. Which, good for them.
Let's see how
I
they
will-
execute on it because the last couple execution things they haven't done real well. So let's see how they execute
Yeah.
on it. But it's a good thought
I'm not
process.
a huge fan of the sunsetting of weapons and especially armor. But I did
Right.
see Dark Drinker back.
Yep, and
Oh, what's over
Vaulted
here?
Glass is coming back,
Yes.
which I think
Cos-
is kind of
Cosmodrome.
cool.
You said it was coming back.
Cosmodrome's
So-
coming back.
I can't tell a lie. I will probably buy the new expansion, not play this one, but I will probably buy the new one.
Yeah, I think I will. I think I feel like I'm almost compelled to have to try it.
The new expansion for not the season pass, but the actual expansion for Destiny. It's coming out in September.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like I just for the nostalgia's sake alone, I feel like I
Yeah,
I
the
need
Vault of Glass is really
That's what they're
compelling.
counting on. Shit. Builder's up here with us.
Okay, let's try this new revive. Hey, you
Thank you.
are up. Man, she is just chasing you, dude.
Yeah, she is. She really
She
wants a
wants
piece of Negan.
She wants a piece of the Negan.
Piece of this Irishman. I get it.
That chick is in love. I bet you're wishing you weren't drinking cheap beer tonight.
I really wish I wasn't. Oh, come on.
Oh,
Your OQ not working on that guy?
Apparently not. That's what happened earlier. Remember? I was saying that the last run we were doing, the OPQ was putting them down really easy when I wasn't in Fight for My Life. Don't feel like the OPQ was doing any work that time for me.
Well, on that note, I think
On that
we're
note.
going to check in with you on how your beer is. And,
Yes.
and we're going to focus on this and get it done.
Absolutely.
How did you feel about your beer? I'm loving my tea.
Good. You liking your tea? And Ghost, you're liking your Johnny Walker, I assume?
I am, yes.
Good. That makes 2 out of 3 of us that liked what they're drinking.
You did not like yours, huh? Oh,
It's not horrible. So it's drinkable. It's not something I would go out and and order up and thrive after and try to get more and more of. But yeah, it does. It has the smell of cheap beer and kind of tastes of cheap beer.
okay.
Yeah, not terribly enjoying it really that much. So we're gonna go find something fresh here in just a second. Watch this taste away. So that was that. That was the beer experience. The beer treated me like the bosses just did.
Little rough, huh?
Little
Little
rough.
rough.
Little rough. Exactly.
I was going to say like a bitch, but
That's
that
either way.
hurts.
I died
That
early
hurts.
on, so I can't say much.
You can't say anything. You got nothing.
No, I got nothing.
That's right. Exactly. All right.
All right.
Well, on that
Well,
note, on that
on that note,
positive note.
next week we will be coming to you from the Division, which is getting a big update, a lot of which looks really good. So
it
we'll
does.
see if a different developer in Massive can release an update during this time and not screw it up. So far they have a very poor track record. they have messed up every update they have released since this time has started too. So we'll just have to see how that goes. But yeah, so
And
we'll
if
do
Ghost
from
had
that
his
next
say, it
week.
would be Division 1.
I know, but we got to try it out. We got to see how they do with their update.
I
Right?
got to give them credit. Got to give them TU10 a test.
Got to give it a little test. So we'll do that next week. And with that, we'll see you later.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Yes.
Yeah, with that,
glad
we
to
will see you later.
see you later. And everybody else, see ya.